Yeah, I'll drink another one if you pour me one. Hello, if you can hear me, we are live. You just Rook's flapping his trap. As always, Sir Kelvin. The rest of Friday was great. I can't believe this all fit. Saturday was very fun. We were out until 1 o'clock this morning, which we don't usually do. Hopefully that's not too loud in the background, by the way. Got a little Muse playing. I am not morning drunk. We drank tons of kava and had a nice little buzz from plant kava, but we did not drink alkies. Halls. No alcohol today. Hail your mama. We're going to talk about clapping back at the Christians. It's okay. We got you covered. Yeah, I mean, we're tired, right? Because it takes a lot out of you. We went to the Pride Parade yesterday, which is where a lot of what we're going to talk about today comes from. It was nice to be at the Pride Parade with people who are not members of LGBTQ community, but also just want to be supportive, and so that was nice. But good stuff, yeah. Having a little bit of, well, everybody's having internet trouble overall, but I think we had a little lag earlier, but it looks like it's calmed down. We are only going to run 30s moving forward. We'll get some things figured out. Good morning, Dragon Dancer. I'm still waiting for Rook to get his ass in here. Because he has to light all the candles. Music, good level for now. Huh. I bet. Thank you. Ma, I can't hold you today. I have a new tattoo on my hand. Yeah, it makes it hard to hold you for just a couple days. I don't know if he's planning on coming or not. Ma, she's not gonna move. Yep. Just a small one. No, last night. Got a little one last night at the coffee place, actually. We all got something. Each of us something a little bit different. It was all flash tattoo, so you know, very tiny little bits and pieces.
You have to give medicine. Good girl for the medicine.
Do you mind throwing that away? Yeah, we'll show. Rook got a little bolt on his left ear, behind his left ear, and I got the a video game controller a SNES controller on my left hand, and now I want to go back and get a Genesis, the old Genesis controller on my right hand. But it's very cool. Cute. It is something one would do when drunk. But we don't have that excuse, so yeah, there's that. And I found a bottle or a tin can of one of the blends we made. It's got to be at least 2 years old. And I can tell it's old because the smell has kind of run out of it, but oh, it still smells so good and I don't even know where it came from. But Florida winter is starting back up, so it is nasty as hell outside. Yeah, the hand tat was Saturday, but we will be shedding my first on my hand. Other than I do have my tattoo on my finger, but I do. I swear, for him to be ready for anything, I'm gonna have to start saying we're not going live at 9:30. I don't know. I'm gonna have to start cutting some of the things that he likes, though. What else do we do? So yeah, we went to Pride yesterday. Had some fun experiences. We set aside a little bit. A little bit of time has been set aside for some videos this afternoon. So we gotta update some videos that we want to do, and want to start talking about a couple of things. We had mentioned probably maybe a year ago that we were going to start going through the Kybalion as a small piece of this, and we're going to start doing that, I think, because it's very interesting, but it's not going to be part of the live. It's going to be something we're going to do separately. I'm going to turn this down a hair. It is very loud over here. I'm not playing it through the computer. It's actually just playing out normally, so probably will not be able to hear that. If anybody's interested, though, copyright-free death metal music from White Bat Audio is what we're playing. We're going to be switching it over in just a moment to one of their other videos, which I love, which is the retro horror synth theme music.
Ooh, that smells so good.
Which is, for some reason, my favorite music. But again, all White Bat Audio, all without a financial cost. Or strike. Which we don't even care about strikes anyway, because we're never going to be a monetized game. Like, that's not our goal ever. Is he still locked up?
I don't know who got like that.
The dog you never let out of his cage? Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. All three of them are necessary. Oh, he's yelling, Ma, I can't pick you up, honey. You're gonna have to either put Ma up or take her, because she will not get off my leg, and it hurts.
Come here, Ma. Ma petite.
This is why it takes us so long to get ready.
Come on, Ma. Ma petite. Come here. Come here.
Ma, come on now.
Come here, little Ma petite.
I love you, but
Come here, little petite.
I like it when you can sit in my lap and I can't cross my legs for very long. All right.
No, you can't get to the incense.
60s sounds amazing. I like that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Retro horror synth theme music, Unraveled Sanity.
I want to watch a horror movie today.
Well, I'm going to be watching a horror movie when you get on that motorcycle.
Really?
It is what it is. All right. Control minus. Let's do that back. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, y'all. And Bjorn, yay! Thank you. So glad you got able to. I cannot talk today. So glad you joined us. Thanks.
Good morning, Bjorn.
I don't know what Zapoteca is. Hail, share if you would be willing to. That's interesting.
Are you morning drunk?
I'm not morning drunk. I am not hyper enough either for the morning.
And this is Ultra Sunrise.
The video's not on, as always.
Zero Sugar Monster.
So he's showing you something that you cannot see because he knows, as we have always done the entire
have to call
time.
The corners first.
We have, It's like working with a toddler. I'm telling you.
I have a condition.
You are a condition.
Diagnosed.
Bjorn, glad to see you here. Helps me ignore Rook a little bit more.
Something burning?
I just burned some incense.
Oh.
Fuck us. That's what I was gonna say. Oh, we're gonna call the corners because that's just what we do. To get this started, and do it in a general way that if it's something you wish to participate in, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But this to us is kind of setting the tone for that space for Sunday service that we'll be talking about. We got some really good topics today. It's gonna be very informal as always. Probably not gonna do tarot again. I'm gonna lie to you and say we'll do a tarot stream again, which I keep forgetting and not doing. One day I will keep that promise, but I'm gonna stop fake promising it until I do it. What I will promise though is we do have other videos in the works now. So we have about 3 or 4 going that we are putting together slowly. So we'll have a couple in the bank that we can roll with. But anyway, let's get started.
All right. Would you like to shart? Would you like to shart?
I would rather not shart.
Okay. Would you like to start?
It's one of the joys of being home. I usually can make it to the bathroom in time.
Would you like to start?
I will initiate the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hear me, friends and ancestors from the East. Hear my voice carried on the air of clarity and truth. Watch over us as we cast our circle of safety and love.
See me, friends and ancestors from the South. See my flame of passion and creation seared into the energy of the universe. Watch over us as we cast our circle of limitless possibility.
Feel me, friends and ancestors from the West. Feel my love, fear, sadness, and joy washed into the waters of rivers of compassion. Watch over us as we cast our circle of connection and motion.
Reach me, friends and ancestors from the North. Reach my feet and hands, the earth in my toes and work of my fingers. Watch over us as we cast our circle of the earth.
And know me, friends and ancestors from the ether. Know my intent, know my heart, know my spirit. Watch over us as we ask you all to join us in perfect love and perfect trust. Hear, see, feel, reach, and know that the circle is safe, the circle is sacred, and the circle is cast.
Be it so.
Mote it be. Hail Satan, hail thyself, hail everything that's around you.
Clap back at Christians.
Yes. We're going to shart at each corner moving forward.
Okay.
That's the new rule.
Like adding shart to you guys, calling the quarters. Yes.
That's the new rule.
Sharting to the north, sharting to the south,
Sharting to the east, and
What's
sharting
it
to the
all
west.
about?
Jesus criminy.
We apologize to any deity, being, or entity that we have offended with our sharding.
Shall we offend any deity or entity with our sharding? Then they shall not be welcome in our circle no more, because that's a part of life. Cheers.
This is Zero Sugar Ultra Sunrise Monster.
Yes, it is. That is what it is.
I need a lot of caffeine and monsters and coffee.
And since the more and more we drink our kava and our coffee, the less and less we have any time or room, not for the alcohol, but for the after effects of it for me. So I just don't have a need for it anymore. It's just not part of what I want to do. It just ruins. I drink, I feel good for 10 minutes, and then I feel hot, nasty, and disgusting, even if it's one freaking beer, and then the whole next day I don't feel well. So,
you know, the plant form, like different forms, like the cannabis, kava, kratom, it's just so awesome. It gets you like elevated and relaxed without.
It's annoying me. I'm going to move it.
Without, like impairing your judgment.
Yes, that's what I like about kava.
Hello, Kelvin.
Plant Buzz is where it's at, and it is very gimmicky in a lot of places, but not all of it is gimmicky. So
I'm little petite.
She does not like to have her titties on protest.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mama. There.
Speaking of protest, how's everybody's week? We are not. We are using Blue Yeti. We have lapel mics, which we do for our videos and stuff, which I need to charge. We have wireless lapel mics that plug right into our camera. They're freaking amazing. But no, this is just the Blue Yeti. The Big Daddy Blue Yeti. Yeti Blue, whatever. Yeah, we usually have that lit, but Rook failed multiple times today, so... what's new?
I aim to please.
You succeed if pleasure is pain. How is everybody though? How's everybody's day, week been? 2 weeks since it's been.
2 weeks.
We've been busy this weekend. I was in Maryland this week. So that was fun. I'm gonna be all over Florida this week, and I'm home. I don't have to fly, but I'm gonna be driving everywhere this week. Let's see, like Naples tomorrow, and then Fort Myers, then Naples again, then West Palm, and then Orlando. If I go to Orlando, we'll see.
I don't like Orlando.
No, me either.
I-4 is a drag.
Yeah, and you almost can't get around it. Oh, Dragon, please, yes, love share anything you've got. That's always a fun. But yeah, so the big thing we did was the pre-Pride at Kava.
Yes.
On Friday.
Botanical Brewing.
At Botanical Brewing, which was a great evening, just kind of restful. That's where I was from Apocrypha. That's where I was at. Why is she staring at me like that?
She's judging you because you didn't want to hold her.
I do want to hold you, Ma, but I can't. So I'll show you the tattoo eventually. It's on my hand. But yeah, so that was pretty much the biggest thing I think that we did was hold on, I'm gonna pause that to save some energy. Was the pre-Pride, and then on Saturday we went to Pride. And then back to Kava last night with friends, which was great. We had a really good time. Didn't even leave until after 1 o'clock. They're practically closing the place down.
I highly recommend behind the ear tattoos.
While we were there, we both got ink done.
It's very therapeutic, like a little tickle massage.
When I'll show you when I get a minute. Finn, I'm not picking you up again, buddy. I got a Super Nintendo controller on my hand. I know you can't see it, but yeah, so I'm gonna get a matching Sega on this side. I know I said that earlier, but that's gonna be the fun stuff. But while we were at the Pride event, as is expected,
oh God,
we ran into the haters. You're not coming up any further, buddy. I know that's what you're trying to do, but you can't. He's mad at me because I won't let him all the way up on the table.
We did 2 dragon, and just getting a little bitty one helped scratch the itch.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
Just a little bitty one.
Yep. I kind of like that little bit at a time, so we're going to kind of keep that. Or I'm going to kind of keep that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so while we were there, we ran into, and we want to put some video out, I think, on it if we can without going too crazy.
We're going to.
Is the homo sex is a sin, Jesus screaming, people with megaphones yelling at people down the actual parade line event, which I didn't think they were allowed to do, but they did.
They shouldn't have been allowed to do it.
I will say this, we're okay. I mean, there was a lot of people there. The Cape Coral Police did a really great job, just be like, fair and just keeping things together, but it was irritating and frustrating that still happens. But and they're always there, and we know they're always going to be there. But it did irritate me that they were allowed to use the megaphone down the thing. And then there was a small group that was shouting, going up and down where the parade was, before and after the parade, so in the middle of the street. And one thing that was, really frustrating for me is that it looks to me like those crowds are smaller, but they're louder. And one of the things I want to talk about later, though, I'm going to point it out now, though, is as we were leaving, it was starting to really grate on our nerves. So we were kind of, screaming back at them just for the hell of it. And one lady's like, guys, you can't beat hate with hate. You have to have love. You have to beat hate with love. And the first thing I thought was, well, that ain't fucking working, lady. So annoying. But,
Thank you, Adius.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, I mean, you were military, so.
I was in the Navy, so kind of channeling that again. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I just got to make sure that the music doesn't change over to something else because it does that a lot.
But I'm still mad about this. I mean, this whole thing with those protesters.
There was before I get into that though, there was a lot of gayness there. It was very rainbow vomit, but it was also very very suitable for work. There was it wasn't hypersexual.
No titty breastplates out.
Yeah, there was
like that.
There
no
was
ass out.
zero of that.
Yeah.
Now when night hits, bets are off. That's when things can get weird. We weren't there that late. We went back to Cava, but it's very frustrating to hear that they were really doing good. It was very. The main sponsor was a church, right?
The main sponsor was a church.
Right.
Yeah.
So with all of that and these individuals still here screaming, there was no there just was none of that stuff that some people like talk about and say, oh, they get really hypersexual in Chicago and Cherry and DC and they do, but they generally do that at night. And this one wasn't that. It was very kid friendly. There was a lot of children there. It was very nice. And for them to be screaming that kind of just nasty evilness, it just irritates me. And people just have to comment. And it's very frustrating to see people comment. But I just thought to myself, or saying, this is why we still need pride. It is very, I was getting in the mindset of, why do we have to have pride? This is so dumb. It's time to be integrated. But watching all of the other kids that were there that I can tell there's people with trigger warning, with cuts on their hands and their arms. Kids that have been picked on and probably bullied and have nowhere to turn to and maybe didn't even have family with them. If they don't see us saying something to those people or standing in the way, then they have nobody. And that really, really pissed me off again yesterday to see that that's still such a big issue. And to hear somebody say, you have to fight love. No.
Only way to deal with it is through love and kindness. No, it's not.
Yeah. If love and kindness worked, then it would have worked by now. And the other thing that I find that's interesting, because I wanted to tie it into the Kybalion, the polarity teaching, because that's kind of a thought at first glance that's what it's talking about. That it's saying, if that is hate, then I need love to cancel it out. But really what it's saying is that level, you need to get towards the middle of that bar, not towards the other extreme, because the extremes are equal. So if you kill hate with kindness, you're not zeroing anything out. You're just switching lanes. But yes, I loathe bullies as well.
But the cool part was they just kept, some of them were walking up and down the street and you had little kids and adults surrounding these churchgoers or whatever they were with rainbow parasols and beating tambourines to try to drown them out. And I screamed at them several times, "Hail Satan and Jesus is dead." And I responded back. I clapped back and I felt good. And then I have on video, which I want to post.
Oh yeah, we're editing that.
Hero. At the end, there was one of the guys holding up a huge, I think it was a red or yellow sign with fags die or whatever it was, and there was probably a middle-aged woman twerking up against the guy with the sign.
She was kind of funny. I liked her,
and that was funny. I mean, so I now, since they have invaded our festival, which they have a right to do, I really want to see what needs to happen to get signs made that say Jesus is dead and Satan loves you, and go outside a church and just wave them.
I don't ever want to go. I have
the
a
street.
better idea. I think what we want to do next time, because I enjoy going to the Pride events, but I'm not really interested. The parade was fun. Yeah. But after that, the rest of the stuff is whatever. Like, it's not for me. The loud music, the dance, it's just not for me anymore.
I didn't like that.
So I would say there were probably about 2 loud protesters and about 20 quiet protesters. Mm-hmm. And so that means 25. So what I want to do for next year is make 25 signs like that of all different kinds, right? And go there, and so that everybody, at least every person will have one sign that we can hold to walk along. So if there's 5 people walking that are screaming, we're gonna have 5 people walking with signs. Yeah. Against it, because it was. Maybe
I won't scream next year and just have.
Oh, I don't have a problem with the screaming. The only problem with that is I got mad at the end after you said that, and then the guy said that Jesus rose. I said, yeah, because he's real hard, and I probably shouldn't have screamed that, because that was inappropriate.
Well, it just makes you mad, like, And for really me, the same reason as all the people that have been things said to them like that their whole life and worse, and that commit suicide or try to or get to that level, that's.
And then when you've been in that situation and you just can't take it anymore, or your kid is getting targeted by these people, and mom goes and screams and yells at them, they're the bad person. And it's just like, you can't do either. You can't do it either way. Yeah. And the whole, the nice overall thing that I hope kids got out of that was, for all those people that were fighting there, a church was the main sponsor of the entire event. And there were 3 churches there, not all of them Unitarian. There were non-Unitarian churches.
Pentecostal was one, I think, MCC.
That were there and supportive. And it's just like... But it made me think of, when she said that might be one thing that we can point to that's a difference of individuals, right? And we talk about a witch does this and a Satanist does that. And there's 5 million people in between that, right? But if all of us say, kill them with love, and love will beat their hate, then we will never change.
No.
We do need people to do that. We need people to kill them with kindness and love, because if not, the world would turn gray really fast, right? But we need both. So we need the Satanists to say, hell, Satan, suck Jesus's dick and die. And I think that's interesting, because there has to be both.
And we need people with bricks. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I don't advocate for violence.
Well, we just got demonetized if we ever do try.
I'm making a historical reference.
Yeah, it's just to Stonewall.
To history.
I almost said brick wall.
A brick wall.
It is, and Bjorn, that's one of the things that's really frustrating. That the haters are 1 in a million, but they are so freaking loud. And I don't, it just boggles my mind. Like, what goes through your head that says, I have to push Jesus and Christianity so hard that I have to go out of my way to go to this event and make people feel bad? That's what Jesus wants me to do. Mm-hmm. And that is just insane. So yeah, in Twisted Chaos, I agree with that, but I think the communication needs to be had. There's a couple things with that. Number one, I agree, Adius, that you can't communicate with the willingly ignorant, but you can present facts, and some out of the willingly ignorant group do take effect of that, because things I think are better. Like communication and having things at the table now has changed a lot of things. The problem is there's just some incredibly loud people. Really loud people. So again, it got me thinking about that concept of polarity, right?
Bubby.
And so when we talk about as above, so below, or something having a polar opposite, that final hate, that deep-seated hate, a deep-seated love and kindness is not going to cancel that out. It's almost like you can't put in humanity and occultism and spiritual and social. You cannot put -5 and +5 together and get 0. It has to be -5 with a +5, +5, +5, +5, +5, surrounding that one just to get it even to -2. And then you have to wait for that -2 to think about it, go back to a -5, and then finally maybe change their mind and take a few people with them. So that communication does have to happen, and it has to continue, but it's not effective on its own.
My foot's asleep.
Look at this dog.
Hey,
He just
buddy.
wants to be a part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, those you want to hate, I'm not sure I know what that means. Those you want to hate will hate regardless of the facts. That's very, like, I get that, but again, people's mind have changed, so if we just take that as a nihilistic fact, then nothing will ever change. It takes that statement plus others, right? It's those you want to hate. There will be somebody with love, there will be somebody with anger, somebody with frustration. That person doesn't have to change on their own, and sadly, many of them, if not most, won't do it. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's probably why I get in trouble a lot. I engage with everyone that triggers many of my fellow practitioners and bothers them. Yeah. You know, I try to understand both sides, but I do have a hard time because I do get riled up really quickly on certain things. That's one of them. That is definitely one of them that gets me riled up. And it's not like, even there's people around me that have even said, you know, I get you need pride, but you don't have to push it on the kids. And I'm like, where is it being pushed? I just don't understand that argument at all. And what it makes me think is that they're obsessed with gay sex. Because that's not what the pride is about. The one we went to was not about that.
No.
So they're like, you can't push sex on a kid. I'm like, gay is not about being sex. Trust me. It's just frustrating. I like seeing more, like Bjorn. I've watched a couple of videos of people who have disagreements and kind of can talk through it on a lot of those topics. If it comes to a core value for me, I do start having trouble communicating with them because I just wholeheartedly, and I know this isn't the best way to look at it, but I wholeheartedly believe that discrimination and prejudice, discrimination is wrong. Having discrimination and decision making, which we've read recently in a book, is not the same thing. I don't care if anybody wants to utilize that as a red herring or not, but that's not the same thing. That's completely different. So I don't even know why people bring that up because that's just dumb, in my opinion. But there are, yes, prejudice and discrimination. I know you have probably dealt with a lot more than many. And at some point for me about the gay thing, I do just stop talking about it. Like, I don't tell people that I meet that have never met me before, don't know me. I just don't. Because I just don't want to deal with the potential of an issue. And if I'm never going to see them again, I don't care. I don't care enough for them to know. And it's not important for them to know. So, Adius, there is no sexual preference in being gay, just for the record. Sexual preference is completely different. Very, very different. But it is about, and that's why they use orientation. And I hate the fact that they use the word sexual, because sex is male, female. That's where that term comes from, which is different from gender. There's a whole lot of stuff in the middle of all that. But if I never have sex again in my life, I will still be gay. If I did not have a penis and could not perform, I would still be gay, and I would still be in a relationship, and I would still be gay. Like, it literally, and I don't know why people don't understand that.
Well, and two, like, there's people.
No lesbian's gonna want to go grab a dick. I'm just saying.
There's people that, because of all this or couldn't or whatever, like, instead of be happy in life, and sex is part of being happy, you know, it's a part of life, chose to abstain rather than be straight or do whatever. And I think, God, like, people are missing out on life for what?
Yep, they're still gay. If that's they probably, there's so much more in the middle of that, I think, than anybody knows. But regardless, that piece is kind of out of it, because the fucking part's the fucking part. That's not the sexual orientation. That is not where LGBTQ is true. And it's just like with you know, if a family is together, they have kids, and then the guy's impotent. To me, I don't think that's a reason to get divorced with somebody. It certainly doesn't change your sexual orientation. People who do change it, maybe they just change their preference. Fine. If you no longer want to act on that, that's fine. It's okay. You don't want to call yourself, it's fine. None of the labels matter. But don't start calling me a pedophile. That's where I get irritated. And insinuating that I'm a pedophile because I'm gay and don't mind kids being at a gay pride event. Which again, yesterday, very tactful. I was very impressed. Because some of those things do get stupid raunchy, and I'm not here for that with kids around. I'm just not.
Yeah, no way.
But
kids shouldn't be exposed to that in any setting. I mean,
overt sexuality, I don't really have a problem with kids being exposed to, because you've got tribes that do that, and that's a thing. But that's just not in our culture right now, and it's not appropriate, and I wouldn't want my kids in it. Which is why, like, if they want to get all hot and bothered, do it after dark. Let people know when it's NSFW and not. You know what I mean?
Non-family friendly at 8 p.m. on.
Right.
Or whatever, 6 p.m.
Be clear.
Yeah.
And so there's so many things that we can do to reorganize, and that's the real meat of today's topic for me, is so much we can do with our occult learning to reorganize that energy. The first one we already talked about, reorganizing that energy using Levian magic is what I will call it. Pomp and circumstance.
Levian, not Gilmore.
Bring louder, bigger, better signs.
Yep, I like that. And we shall next year.
I will have my horns on. So that is one thing that the Church of Satan would have taught me that's new now. Is where it's time for us to have a ritual. And the next time we go there, it's not going to be overtly satanic, because that will throw a lot of other people off and they won't be able to pay attention.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a mix. I think that we'll have some... Get your butt out of my face, please.
Buddy, come on. You can't put your butt in people's face.
He is a nut.
You're a booger. You and Ma are going to have to get along.
So, like, my thought is to have all different kinds of signs. And it's something Bjorn just said there I think is really, really interesting. You know, push on all practicing people, either spiritual or philosophical, is a system of modernity. So far into the system of modernity, at the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters of a Mother Earth. Absolutely.
Yes.
And Earth connection. So that was the thing I was thinking about. When we do signs and when we come in, the hippie lady, you involve her. Like, grab the people around and say, look, we're not wanting to do this. And the kids brought tambourines to go out over the guy with the megaphone, which, you know, those are all things that we can do. And that is that pomp and circumstance, I think, of LeVay. And the reason I think that that's important, I don't know why I'm yelling. The reason I think that's important is because while we were there, if we just killed them with love and kindness, me as a young kid, I would have been very disappointed that people weren't standing up for me. And then I would have really felt alone. And I already felt alone enough. So having somebody there and seeing they're willing to get up and, you know, have fun in their face, the twerking, the lady that was yelling at him, you better not take your eye, look at my kid again, you know, and she's telling him because he was yelling and looking at her 3-year-old child, like just toddler and whatever toddlers do. And it's just like, no, can't do that. So more adults need to take control of that.
But overall, if you take out those people, I feel like it was a very upbeat, joyful time. It was a celebration for sure. Cape Coral, this is only the second one we've been to of that, but is always like a joyful time. And I always feel uplifted when we do go, and I felt the same yesterday. I just got angry, and I probably could have left my clapping back out of it, but it was fun, and I don't regret it.
You shouldn't.
I think they needed to hear that. I think their fucking person is stupid and dead, and
just the way that they engage it too. So yeah, and I agree with that too. Like, the animistic thing is so much different now. Good morning, Tabby. Hey, Tabby. Good morning. I know some Abrahamic followers, and what's interesting is the majority of them that I know, and have known more recently, how different my life would have been if that would have been my experience.
Oh, exactly. Especially for me, someone recently that we met and is sharing her faith and stuff. If that would have been my experience, God, my early years and teen years would have been so much better for knowing somebody like that or experiencing a faith like that.
Yeah. No more. It's going in his face.
Here, Bubba. You gotta get down.
Yeah.
I gotta go pee.
I know he gets
I'm gonna start sneezing.
sneezled.
You get down. Give me, baby.
But that was it wasn't, I won't say it's like an eye-opening thing, but it was something that it was a reminder that we are not in a great place yet, but we are so much getting there to that movement, right? To that go. Yeah. And I think I've talked a couple of times about animism here, and that's one of the things I haven't fully kind of reconciled, because I do believe in a very animistic sense. And that's kind of how deity is for me, but it's very interesting. So exactly. And Twisted Chaos, that's one of the things that's just like a lot of people, especially in the occult, have a very guttural, acrid and very vehemently angry response to Jesus, God, because of what we saw yesterday is what we've experienced our entire life, whether it's for being gay or being occult or being weird or goth or playing Dungeons and Dragons or Magic the Gathering. All those things have led to an experience of very much distaste from the Abrahamic religions, and that's something that we need to change too, because it's not fair for us to lump everybody in that same aspect, knowing that that's not how the majority are. And so that is another piece of live and let live, right? Another piece of, if we are going to start working towards a more just and a more engaging culture, we can't do it by being quiet, but we can't do it by being the loudest either. There's too many guys back on the left or the right, or however you look at it. It's very insane. But yes, and thank you. Please, yes, like. Woohoo. It's all over social media too. But I always forget to tell people to hit the like button. Gosh, I just never remember. But yeah, so that's really the big thing for me is like, how can I now apply some of the things I've learned? So when somebody comes to me and talks to me about God as being an all-power, omniscient individual being, I don't believe in that. What I do believe in is that God is imbued in every single thing that exists, and everything has its own spirit, essence, or nature. And with us interacting with that, my essence and nature and soul gets to know that essence and nature and soul of that thing, whether it's living by our definition or not, whether it's man-made or constructed or not. Just like when I get into a plane, I think the plane has an essence, and I speak to that essence every time I get on, because every single thing in that plane came from somewhere that is soulful and energyful. And so that kind of comes out for me from an animistic kind of perspective. But I think that's also recognizing that people that do believe in God is also fine, and is a fair value statement and pathway to take. It's just the problem that we run into, and this is something that we have to be better about. Occultists, we can't automatically assume everybody that comes to us who is a Christian thinks death of us. I even had somebody else, my best friend from St. Pete. I mean, I've been friends with Allison for 30 years. Yeah, that'd be good. How old am I? Yeah, oh no, maybe 25 years I've been friends with this person. And we don't talk much, maybe every 6 months. We'll catch up, and then we're like, we have to get together. Yeah, I miss you, love you. And then we don't talk for 6 more months. But if she calls me right now and says, hey, something really bad's happened, I can't really talk about it, but I need you to come here. Bye. I wouldn't even talk about it. This a guy's got to go. Stream ends. We're off. And the same goes the other way. And she called me and said, hey, because she doesn't do Facebook or anything. She's not even on it. She's like, hey, blah blah was on Facebook and see you posting all about that satanic stuff. Are you having like satanic what do they call sacrifices and hurting animals? And my first reaction was, you know me better than this. But I didn't. I kind of held my composure. I did get irritated at first, and I know she heard it in my voice, but she just kept talking and asking questions because she didn't know. And so we were able to actually kind of talk about it. It was really nice. And the response that ultimately came out was like, hey, I really kind of want to learn more about this. I don't think it'll change my mind about it. And I think she's pretty sure she's atheist, but she's like, it's not going to change my mind about it. She's like, but I'd like to be interested and know the things that you know and are interested in. That's important to me. And I was like, that's really how this is all supposed to work. So if we constantly rag on every single person that calls himself a Christian, then we are doing just the same bullshit that they're doing to us. And we can't do that. At least we can't do that here. You guys can do whatever you want. Now, I am going to continue ragging on those that make life hell for us, like the groups yesterday. Westboro Baptist Church certainly is on the list. People on YouTube who are spewing about the coming wars that are just made up. That kind of stuff. Oh yeah, we'll deal with that. Deal with it. But in general, I'm going to try a lot harder to not talk negatively about Christianity. I will talk negatively about some of the individual experiences I've had and some of the ways some people have made me feel that might happen to be Christian. Because let me tell you, there are Satanists that have pissed me off and have made me feel shit that I don't talk to anymore. There are left-hand path. There's everybody.
There's witches.
There are witches.
Yeah, that have pissed
and
me
bitches.
the fuck off. And bitches.
And see you next Tuesdays.
Yes. I literally took something you said and I thought what I really want to do next year also, in addition to the signs, is where they're loudest, like where they have the megaphones or like they set up on that corner with a PA system and we're doing that stuff. I literally want to have as many people as we can have with a drum circle right there banging. Right,
that would be really cool.
Just like banging out on the drums.
I will say this: if you bring signs and or a megaphone, you have to have a permit.
Yeah.
So, but we'd have to apply for a permit probably
for the drums,
for anything counter protest.
I think a fucking drum circle right there to drown them out would be awesome.
And I think that's also a really important distinction that Adius makes. Agree 100%. It's not the problem with the Christians; it's the problem with Christ. I mean, church. Sorry, yeah. I said that wrong because that's a T-shirt. I do not like your Christians. I like your Christ, or whatever it was. But
Lord, save me from your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't lie. This is Bjorn. I won't lie. I work with many Abrahamic people, but a lot of them want to chop my head off. Yeah, we've talked about this before in the past. Regardless, we can't hate in the same way the church wanted their followers to do so out of fear. Yeah, you gotta be very careful with that. And yesterday, I think an interesting distinction for me was I wasn't hateful. I didn't feel hateful.
Me either.
I felt anger.
Yeah. I was hateful.
I felt rageful and hurt that people still believe that I shouldn't exist in the same way. That is what bothers me. And the type of megaphone and the signs that I want to hold are
you are loved.
Both the kindness and the peaceful pagans and the violent rainbowisms. Yeah. But also the hail Satans and the go, sorry, your dad touched you in a bad place. Can't put that. I'm just saying.
I want to put Catholics molest children. I want to hold one that says that.
Cannot do that.
You can't put that?
I don't think that would be appropriate sign to have when we know also that kids will be there. Because we have to remember that there are children there. So there are little bits of limits for me on that because think of the kids.
What if we just list cases and then people ask, what is that? Oh, these are all the clergy that have been convicted of sexual misconduct.
That's fair.
Yeah, and a percentage.
But again, the problem with that is, it just doesn't affect anybody personally until it does, so it has no impact. Yeah. So that's why, to me, the impact is for every one person that they have with a line and a thing. I would love to have a group, somebody standing beside them with another one, and that to me would be the occult and the pagan response.
I'll say this: the adults and the kids had it right. When the ones that were marching alongside the protesters, they had it right. Like they had a good thing they were doing. You know, with
that's what I want to do. Like they literally were following them around, and not enough people joined in, I think. But there was a little kid running in the front, probably 8, and everybody was giving him a high five. And then people around with the parasols were starting, you know, kind of walking around in the tambourine. So that's something I definitely want to do.
I'd want a big rainbow flag, like trying to block them, you know, walking right in front of them.
You know what's really interesting about this? I wonder if that's something we could use the biker community to do.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because you know how they get, like with the Westboro Baptist Church, that they'll go in and they'll really make a barrier when they protest funerals of soldiers. So people think it's just gay people that they hate, but it's a lot. They hate everybody.
Yeah, those little kids have me choked up. Though I was like, a child understands more than an adult, you know? Yeah. A child.
And I just imagine if that same person, like the one that you talked to or whatever, or heard, I don't care if you disagree with what we do. And I don't even want to take away your right to protest it.
Yeah, that's not the issue.
But don't scream at the megaphone. Don't walk around with homo sex is a sin and fags die. Because that to me that's worse than the rainbows and the kids. Ugh, it just drives me nuts. But again, occult Nikki. From a perspective of understanding, is there's more +5s than it takes to get rid of that -5. It can't just be a kindness link. It has, and that's, I agree. I feel that way about polarity in the Kybalion. They're not saying to me that this extreme and this extreme cancel. They're saying this extreme and this extreme can, in a quantum field, absolutely reverse with no energy and be the other person without any problem. So they're the same. Difference in degree, same in nature. So the goal in the Kybalion, which I don't agree with this in everything of life, but in the terms of the Kybalion, if you read it and tried to work through some of the stuff and understand it, is whatever extreme you're on, you're aiming for the middle. And it's not to be boring and ho-hum in the middle. It's to understand the energies on both ends and be able to work with them as you need to. And it's the same thing with the principle of gender. You have, I would say, extreme masculine, extreme feminine genders, not male or femaleness, but genders of action and reception. And those extremes, the extreme feminist and the extreme masculinist, neither one of them is going to get an end result. They do not cancel each other out. They're just two positive extremes, right? But as they work to understand each other and learn, both of those can come together into the middle and understand a little bit more about what it means to be in touch with both your sides. And that's kind of how everything to me in the Kybalion works. And that's something that you can apply, you know, to multiple areas. The closer you get to the center isn't the more boring or less strong or strength you have, because people think the more out there I am, or the more away I am, the stronger I am. And that's not true. It's the further away from the all you are, right? Because the all is in the center and it spreads out everywhere. And if you're on the outside of it on either end, you're still on the outside of it. You're not at the center of it. You're not moving towards it. And reach it or don't reach it, go for it, towards it. It's just a very important piece of it to me. Then I just kept thinking about that over and over last night and this morning about gender and polarity from that perspective specifically. And that underlying the animism of understanding that, you know, those individuals also have souls that are not being recognized because their brain and their body can't. But if they're drowned out and nobody hears their message, there's no message to give, right? And yelling at them didn't help. They kept it. They did it the whole time. Nothing changed. And they left there like, this is the thing. They left there. These people are going to hell. They're going to die because they believe in it. Nothing changed for them. They're going to go do it at the next one. They're probably back there today because it's a 3-day event. It's just depressing. But that is what is important to me that we take what we learn and read and talk about it and engage it into something else, some other uses, some other things that are effective at our mundane life, at how we do life, how we make life work, and how we engage in the world. And I'm certainly not great at it, but I'm feeling like I'm starting to get better. Excuse me, can't clear my throat.
Ma Petite said, take more signs. Drum them out.
Let's do that. Let's do it. Let's take more signs.
Yeah.
Anybody else have had any like direct experience with stuff like that? It's, you know.
Glasses are dirty.
Hold on, Mama. You cannot come over, please. I love you, but a little bit more of our old scenty stuff.
It smells so good.
But yeah, that was the experience yesterday, and it was a very overall good experience. Had a great time. It was just the right amount of time.
3 hours. That was enough.
We got there. We stood at where the parade started.
And that's where you go to get all the good shit.
Oh my God! They just kept giving us so much stuff.
You go to the front where it starts, and they throw all kind of shit at you.
And there was nobody else there.
Nobody else was there.
Like I have like 4 rainbow neck gaiters now that I just never knew I needed. Ma, this dog is giving me the evil eye for real.
You're perfectly fine, Ma.
Thank you, Bjorn. I know there's a delay on here, so I apologize. But yeah, it is. It really is both sides working hand in hand, mutual understanding, and it does apply everywhere. And you can. The thing that I've learned is that these concepts do apply everywhere and can be used everywhere, but they can't be the only frame in which to experience it, because then you find other issues that you have. And I think some people kind of get a little confused with that too. When you learn a new concept or a process and you apply it to something, that doesn't mean it's now the only one you can use. It's just another lens, another tool to use as you're engaging with the world and trying to figure out what all this shit means, because that's what we're all trying to do most of the time. And if you've discovered what all this shit means, then you're probably trying to figure out what everybody else tries to think that all this shit means.
Yeah, everybody's just trying to figure out their own shit.
So there's that. That's been fun. But yeah, what do you guys think? Any personal experiences with that? Thoughts on that? I know everybody's been talking throughout.
I know I'm way behind, but as always, I love Furry Rage's comments about Hail Santa. He only discriminates on who's been good or bad. I know that's way back earlier, but
that is funny though.
It's funny.
And it's true. We love our Santa. Yeah. And that's the thing with kids, Tabby. Like there's some social experiments that kind of I know I'm going back a little bit. They kind of talk about are people inherently good or bad? And I don't think they're inherently either. But right. I think with if I exist, it's almost luck, right? If I exist and the only interactions that I've had in that beginning of that existence are negative, then I will probably move with fear. And if I exist and it starts with very positive and I'm lucky, then I probably will move with more love. But that's not how humans generally grow. Humans are have control over how they create that environment. And let's just face it, in many cases, kids don't have good environments, whether it's this or something else. Like it's not a good option. It's very strange. Very strange.
We want to find a pagan pride next, Dragon.
Yeah.
To go to. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
But that's freaking awesome. All the witches and wonderfuls.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very how. Very different. But Tabby, I like what both you and Twisted were saying there. It is very true. It is about understanding that that their parents will love them no matter what. That alone creates a safety net of being able to experience things they might not otherwise experience. I think some people take that for, oh, well, you know, you can't just, you have to teach kids that hard times will come. No, you don't. Hard times are going to come.
Yeah.
They just will. And you'll deal with them, and that will be the training and the education and the experience for them. But, you know, that and there are some people who just are lovers, and there are some that I think are just, they can be hateful. But I think in most cases you can look back and see, and majority, not all, but a majority, if they're coming out with some serious negativity and actual hate, then something has happened, you know, in my opinion. I'm sure that's not always true, but
Here, sweetie.
so what have you been reading lately?
Well, something I'm going to take a break from. Satanic Scriptures, Gilmore. I learned and love LaVey's writings, but I do not love Gilmore's writing. So
Agree.
I'm almost halfway through with it. I'm going to put it aside and switch back to the Kybalion for this week. And then I think we have the Satanic Witch by LaVey to read. I haven't read that yet.
Nope, me either.
And then I want to get to the Quaker book that I got to do. I need to switch gears a little bit different. This LaVey was great, but this Leg of Warden and Gilmore, I'm just not feeling them.
No.
I don't care for their style.
I don't feel like either one. I'm not I'm not a Satanist, and I'm not an expert by any means. I've only read some books. The things that they speak about and talk about do not speak to me in that perspective, so it just doesn't work for me. But I enjoyed LaVey's work. I do not enjoy anybody else's, and I don't think and feel like their moving forwardness in Church of Satan, I don't feel like it embodies what LaVey was or did. And I may be wrong. He may think this is the best thing since sliced bread and that's how it's supposed to be, but just judging by what he wrote and what they're putting in, I don't see it. So yeah, I want to get back to reading stuff that he actually wrote. And I know there's things that he was a dick about, you know? And I'm not going to agree with everything. But there's something different. Very different.
Definitely different to it. And after Kybalion and the Quaker book, I want to get into what the overview of the Temple of Set.
The mysteries of the Temple of Set.
Yeah, by Don Webb.
So currently I am going to finish the Satanic Scriptures. I want to get that done, because while you're reading the Kybalion, I'm going to have my notes on that, and we'll talk about it. Ma, I'm so sorry, but I can't hold you. She is so mad at me.
Am I not good enough? Am I not good enough for you?
She's not even looking at you.
Hey, am I not good enough for you? Look, I got you.
So yeah, I'm going to try to finish that, and then we're reading the Book of Enoch and Enochian Magic. And then I want to finish the Convoluted Universe by Dolores Cannon. That's kind of my range. And then I'm going to start with the Temple of Set, Volume 1. But I am with you. After this, I'm kind of done with the satanic literary event in my life.
Yeah,
at least for a while.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all they're doing is fighting with each other. And the Satanic Temple is just over here like, whatever, guys.
Yeah.
And like, whatever. Meanwhile, everybody else is like, y'all suck, you're stupid. Whatever.
I want to read the Satanic Witch, and I have not read the Satanic Rituals yet, so that's one I've got to get. I'll read LaVey stuff, but the others I'm not so interested in.
I'm with you. So that's been fun. Yeah, you don't need to be the hard time. Life will give you your children. Absolutely. My parents were had a lot of faults, but they didn't go out of the way to create difficulties for me. So I do feel very blessed that I had those experiences. They made some big mistakes that could have changed a lot of things in my life, made it a lot easier.
Yeah, Quakers.
But they didn't know any better.
She's gonna start her noise soon. Look at her.
Yeah.
She's gonna start her noise.
She's so mad that I'm not holding her. I'm so sorry, ma petite. The way you like to be held, I can't cross my leg. For like more than a minute, it hurts.
Petite.
She is so mean to me when I don't hold her. Did he say quackers?
Not quite. Oh, Quaker.
I just saw it
didn't
right
see it.
before your text showed up, so I did catch that. Quackers. Quackers and milk. But yeah, that's what we've been reading lately. The more I read about Satanism and try to put in a couple of satanic practices, the more I feel like eclectic left-hand path witch. Because animism is very strong for me. I've looked in the Goetic demons and stuff, and we've worked with a couple. I think that that'll be a neat exercise. But I'm just not feeling that process. I mean, we're working through some of the workbooks very slowly. And I've done some work with Stolas, and which has been cool and great. But to me, that energy is just as easily reached as the Alking. So I'm not having that push or pull towards Satanism that I did. Left Hand Path completely different, and probably because Don Webb with that first book. Because that, if you are ever interested in the Left Hand Path, Uncle Setnak's Guide to the Left Hand Path by Don Webb is an amazing place to start. I talk about him every show. I am a fanboy for sure. If he ever even acknowledged me, I'd probably just pass out.
Oh,
and I don't fangirl, so
Uncle Setnak's Guide to Left Hand Path. That was definitely a altering book for me.
To think of it,
it was a really good book.
How is getting outside and driving or riding a motorcycle down streets that you have never been on in your neighborhood left-hand path? And it is, and it explains why. And not only is it good for that, it's also very good for prepping. So that'll be our little prepping throw.
Ambidextrous witch.
The crooked path. Yeah, so I'm definitely left-hand path. I don't know, based on my own definition of it, which is left-hand path seeks to be the center of my spiritual world. Right-hand path seeks an external center to the spiritual world. Both are perfectly fine. Just a different approach to me. But my approach is definitely, I'm centered in that process. So, but maybe you can switch as you need to, right? Bloop, bloop, bloop. I have enjoyed everything I've read by Don Webb. There's more I want to read. I haven't got any of his
horror.
His horror fiction, because apparently he writes that too, and I want to watch that. Bjorn, I would love to catch up on some of that. Maybe we'll have a Discord at some point and talk, because last time we talked, even though it's only been once, I think it's just been the one time. I really, really enjoyed that conversation. So, we talk about reading a lot, and we do read a lot, but it is very true that you do have to experience the things that you're reading and work them through, talk them, engage them for them to really become valuable. But books have definitely given me some tools that I didn't have before. So, yeah. I don't think I have anything else.
I was going to say it's coming up on an hour. Anything else you wanted to talk about, or
I don't think so.
Go over?
That was the big thing. Was really to kind of just talk about how that is seen and can be seen through a spiritual lens, and how we can use some of our occult learnings to adjust how we manage and handle those things and maybe have a more effective outcome. We'll see. I learned something neat yesterday. I found out the location of the restaurant that all the people, or not all, but lots of people in Cape Coral ride their bikes to. And it's a little outdoor, little biker bar. And that's where the Pride event started. And there were people in that bar with bikes with their rainbow flags and being very supportive. So that was very nice to see to me. What was also nice to see before we let everybody go was how much of the businesses were still doing business as usual and not being aggressive and just enjoying it. Like, there were people in some of the restaurants that were just kind of watching things go by, and it was a normal thing. It was there's a lot of normalization, which I like in this case. So with that, I don't have anything else for today.
Not for 2 weeks. All right.
Not for 2 weekos. I don't know the Spanish word for week. I got 2 right. 2 weekos. I'll do what I can.
All right. So
Dos Weekos.
We're doing my favorite part and then closing out the...
Yeah, we're going to do Rook's favorite part.
Circle.
We're going to have to change this at some point.
We got to add some folks.
And move some things around, but we rotate it periodically, and I just haven't been in the program to do it. With some of the other videos we're going to do today, we're going to have to do some of that anyway. But let's end out, and then we'll close our circle and go from there.
All right, please check out all of these awesome creators, witches, and wonderfuls. Paranormal Witch on YouTube and Lady Rose 819 on Instagram. Follow her on Instagram. She puts a lot of blogs up about all kinds of things, paranormal, deities, and it's definitely on a level that's understandable and enjoyable to read. Unexplained Possibilities on YouTube and Instagram. We all know and love Unexplained Possibilities. Wednesday night at midnight, California time. What's that called?
Pacific
time, I think, is when he usually goes live every week. Check him out for also some great interviews, tarot reads. You will really enjoy. Ziggy Dreadful on Twitch. Check her out on Twitch if she's playing a game she's liking to invite you in for the fun. Adius Dade on YouTube and most social media, who, with this guy to my left, do a Friday night podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which most of you all know and love, and stop by and support and check out. And content coming soon from Mystic Manny and Dragon Dancer, and we are two Pondering Pagans on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for spending part of your Sunday with us.
coming soon, and don't forget.
Is anyone coming soon? Furry Rage usually tells
I know it's either Rage or Dragon Dancer, but what I was gonna say is don't forget. I don't have the time right, so Adius, if you're in, please post it. But over on Adius Dade's channel, I think in an hour.
No,
It's at 1 o'clock, isn't it? I think. 12 o'clock. I don't know. Post it if you know it. On Adius Dade, we'll have his Sunday Black Mass shortly.
Yes, Coffee with Satan.
Go check it out on Adius Dade's channel. Yeah. Okay, good. He already said it. I don't see it.
Okay.
Bakak.
It wouldn't be the
say
same.
Bakak. All right, we're closing the circle now.
All right.
You do it.
From the north, Widdershins to the east, undoing the circle that was. May it be open but never unbroken. Be it so. Have a great week, everybody. A great Sunday. Thank you for stopping by.
Bye.